Hello friends and welcome back to a new episode of Road to Rank 1. Today's first game is going to be against a Terran player, and that's perfect because I actually have a new build order against Terran. It's one I stole from an American player, and despite what people said in the past is that there are some American players right now that are actually pretty darn good. And this build specifically I managed to steal from Astrea. It is a triple sentry opener. Yes, you heard that correct. A triple sentry opener. It doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense, but boy, this build is very smart. And I'll show to all of you exactly why that is. Now, there's a couple of things you need to know as well, and I'll try to explain everything with it. It's basically a very kind of responsive build. Whatever the Terran player is doing, you can... Well, hopefully you can respond to it. If you don't properly respond to it, you'll still die, but we'll have to wait and see how it's going to go exactly. I'm just going to scout a little bit for any potential proxies. I make sure that there is no eBay blocking my natural eater. In that case, I need to switch life up just a little bit. Whoop. So actually, I don't need that much gas yet. This all looks fine as well. This build actually is pretty optimized when it comes to your resource management, like a lot of pooling in and out of gas in this build order. We start by just getting a bunch of minerals initially. That's the main goal here. Let's see what we have. Okay, 127. This is not a gas first. I don't want to go in, although you could say why not. And the reason for that is fairly simple. I don't want to lose my probe to like a full wall in case it is a 2-gas opener. It does not seem to be a 2-gas opener. Now I want to scout what the actual follow-up is. Is this a marine? Yes, it's a marine into reactor straight away. Getting a lot of information here for free, because this probe gets to stay alive as well. Beautiful stuff. We know that the follow-up can't be a Reaper here, at least not immediately. And we can start with an Adept. This looks weird, but we're going to start with an Adept, and then we go into a Sentry straight away from there. Sentry, Sentry, Sentry. We have to chrono boost, I believe, one more unit, or maybe I don't even have to. Maybe I can just let it go. Then we get a couple of hallucinations going, all that good jazz. Life's going to be real fun from here on out. So you don't immediately have the gas available. Hate to see it. And then the moment my natural finishes, I just pull out of gas ASAP. It's somewhat important. We get this as a third base, I think. Seems to me like this would be the correct one. Probably could have chronoed out this sentry as well. Yeah. Now we pull out of gas. Like I said, as soon as we can, basically. Hop, hop, hop. Ooh. Well, we don't actually need to scout. I just wanted to hit some of his marines once. That's really the only goal I had in life. One more chrono on this as well. Then we could get another gateway, or we can wait a little bit and then get a robotics facility. Play like 2-gate robotics facility. I think that is the way that Astrea usually plays it. I do want to get a third pylon here at my... kind of my outside base. Are there any builds that I'm really afraid of? I think the answer might be no right now. I don't think there's anything in particular where I'm like, ooh, this sounds really, really scary for me. I do want to start rallying back into gas. One of the main reasons for that is because I need more gas. It's not too surprising of a reason, I guess. Get a third one of these. Really do need a little bit more gas, actually. I think I might have sent it back slightly too late. Oh, it's a 3-Rex. Now, this is pretty funny because this build order is actually really, really sick against the 3-Rex. You see, I'm immediately throwing down a battery. That's not even really necessary because, well, it really is just not that necessary. I can send 2 units across the map because my battery only needs to start working in like, what is it, 30 seconds or so from now. We'll get a battery out here as well, which should do quite something. Oh, kind of want to walk across the map with these stalkers. That is somewhat important. And we immediately get as many units as we can. That is just one of my main goals right now, is getting as many stalkers out as I can. Want to make sure that I'm not getting caught off guard here by any shenanigans. So his stim won't finish for another bunch of seconds, which means we can kite this pretty well. Stim will never finish before like 55 or so, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about all of this. We have a very, very good economy as well, which is important. We actually continue checking where he's going, because I have batteries on both sides. So I need to position wherever his army is going. It is very important for me. Okay, he's coming here. Now, this game is practically over. I got a, what we call a default win. Watch me still lose this game. That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? Just kidding. It's not actually impossible. This game is over. He has nothing to go off. I already have 3 bases. I can get some of these observers out right now. I'll just send... I should have built the battery a little bit further back. That would have been more helpful for me. But even like this, it's going to be just fine. Like, there's absolutely nothing my opponent can do right now. My eco is going to be insane. By the time my opponent has his next push coming in, I'll have so many gateways. I'll have so much money. I'll be so far ahead. It's actually crazy to think about. Like, this build gets so much supply so quickly. It is the best if you play against things like triple CC and 3-Rex, obviously. Like, you just get free info. You can kite them a little bit with some stalkers. It's just so ridiculously easy to play against. It almost hurts. Huge fan of this build order. And against factory builds, life can be a little bit difficult. But because you have so many sentries and so many... what you call them? So many hallucinations, you actually get a pretty decent idea of what's going on. Now, because I'm playing against a bio-heavy style, I'm actually going to add blink rather than charge. If it was against tanks, I probably would have gone for charge here. But because I think the only way my opponent can really get something done is through drops, I do believe that I'm in a really good spot right now. We get a battery, cannon in the main base. Like, we just have so much money. We could first get 2 more gates as well. It literally doesn't matter. Like, we're so ridiculously far ahead. If I manage to lose this game, I'll actually eat a shoe. And you could say, well, that's easy to say because this is a video. If you would lose this game, then you would just not put it in the video. And that's not true. I'm a man of my word. I have eaten shoes in the past already. Shoes made of chocolate, of course. If you Google Harstem eats chocolate shoe, I'm pretty sure you'll get some hits. You can watch me eat 2 entire shoes. They're pretty pricey. They were very tasty, but eating 2 in less than 4 hours gave me the worst stomach ache I've ever had in my entire life. It wasn't the most brilliant idea that I've had, that I can say. What did I just lose? That's a probe, I guess, huh? I just have so many units right now. Look at my freaking army supply. And look at my infrastructure as well that I have. It's actually insane. Oh, he's building tanks already. We'll get a fort base. This game is completely over. Beautiful triple sentry build here. Courtesy of, like I said earlier, Astrea, the American Protoss player. Brilliant guy as well. Very creative when it comes to build orders. Really understand what needs to be done in a build for it to be somewhat viable. Look at it. Hoppa. You already know that they're gonna try to pick up that type of stuff, you know what I mean? It's so sick. Like, terrans are fairly predictable, I guess. You see, that tank is pretty far forward and it's pissing me off as well. Oh. An interesting move there out of my opponent. Now I need to make a decision. So I can either play kind of for the late game, which is what I'm gonna do. I could have also added a Templar Archives and eventually gotten out some Archons and then kind of play it from there, but I decided to not do that. We'll use these 2 kind of kite. It's gonna be great here because we get both of the Vikings that are out. I mean, that's just fantastic stuff, right? He's forced to immediately set up with these tanks. I saw that because I had the tower available to me. Get 2 of these bad boys. Maybe I can hit something here. Doesn't seem to be the case, but he also can't hit anything. We're sending a lot of zealots around. It's because charge is about to finish. I just want some counter damage, honestly. It just sounds like a good time to me. A lot of things sound like a good time to me, though. The question is, does it also sound like a good time to him? I think the answer to that might be no. Oh, don't think that one's gonna survive. I also don't think his army is going to survive, so... Pretty massive win here for me. Super battery. GG gets called. So far ahead after that early game. I can't stress it enough. In the end, it would have been better for me to get into charge and just play like charge, Colossus, Archon. I got a lot of stalkers, which makes life a little bit harder. But at this point, I'm up like 14 workers for no good reason, except that my build order just simply hard counters his. We win the game. Go out of the game. We get +3 in the pocket because our opponent was 5-5, and we immediately search a new one. We get another Terran player here. This time I believe it was a 5.7 Terran player. I wouldn't mind playing against like one of the top Terrans with this. I'm really curious how I would deal with it. I was watching this build and I watched Astrea play this a bunch. in the last few days, last few weeks. I've been very impressed by the performance of this build. So let's have a look at it. Shall we now? Another thing that he often does with this is that he doesn't scout at all in the early game. It actually creates a massive eco advantage. Not scouting in general is so good for Protoss. Protoss really gets the biggest advantage from not scouting, but it's also the hardest to get away with as a Protoss, I believe, because you just need so much information in the first 2.5 minutes to not die. Like against certain builds, you just need a blind battery. Against certain builds, you just need to get a zealot out. Like there's just a lot of stuff where you need to know what's going on, and often the information is more important than the 100 minerals or the 90 minerals or however much it is that you're saving. Just gonna not mind too much gas here, but yeah, we're basically not scouting this time around because I'm not feeling it. And the fun thing with this build, by the way, is that when I've seen Astrea play it, oh no, I accidentally went Nexus before core. That's not entirely how it's supposed to be. Doesn't matter too much though. Doesn't matter too much. I'll just get a Cybernex first. I might need to chrono my. Oh my god, that's not a wall. I might need to chrono my my warp gate at some point. That is the only thing that might change a little bit, but everything else remains pretty much the same. What I was going to say is that he pretty much plays it against everything, because you have a lot of gateway units out, which is good. And you also have a lot of scouting, which is also almost always good. The only problem is that you don't have any catch. That is the big downside of this build, and we'll see it if my opponent decides to play a factory opener this time around, is that not having catch can be a huge, but absolutely a huge disadvantage. So we'll see if that's going to be the case here, if that's going to matter at all. I'm definitely going to chrono boost my warp gate at some point in this game, just not quite sure when. And we'll get a third base here with this bad boy as well. This is a very fast third base, I know, I am aware. I don't think I'm supposed to chrono this whatsoever, by the way. It's an actual mistake. Definitely didn't need to do that. There's no point, right? No, no Reaper here makes me happy. Hop, third base goes down. And once again, maximizing that mineral income by sending everything that we have into the natural. Completely beautiful stuff. Sentry, sentry. I'm just afraid of being rushed by something stupid. I guess even if I get like all in at this point. Ooh, that's kind of useless. Even if I get all in at this point by something dumb. The funny thing is that I'll still have force field, so I can just pull up to the main ramp, I guess. In some world. Makes some sense, right? Robotics facility in the wall here. Now, ideally, we manage to pretend that this is actually a Phoenix build, and my opponent will build like a Cyclone. If your opponent builds a Cyclone, life as he knows it is actually over. Ooh. Is this bad for me? Probably, right? I feel like if we had figured out where he was coming from a little bit earlier, life wouldn't even have been that bad for me. And even now... Okay, life's pretty bad for me. Not sure who I'm trying to kid. Okay, yeah, life's pretty bad for me. I'll admit it immediately. Well, I didn't admit it immediately. Otherwise I would have admitted it already. Yikes. So yeah, this is definitely one of the downsides. Nice build. It's a proxy starport, obviously. And it hit like a freaking brick. That's for sure. I laugh, but I cry on the inside. Let's see what his follow-up is. Sometimes they still proxy something extra, which is just kind of something I want to not happen. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So I just got a couple of these bad boys in my main base and we'll kind of hide them. The best way to do that is just to hide them over here. We have a Stalker on the edge. He most likely checks with the Reaper to see if I have any units in my main. Then also pokes and prods at the front at the same time. This is a fairly standard procedure for Protoss or for Terran players. I think he's going in right now. Now we're forced into charge. Wonder what his actual follow-up is going to be, though. And where in the world is this freaking Liberator, huh? Okay, still here. We'll get one of these bad boys. A pylon as well. I think he might actually be waiting for his push out. Which would suck for me, because I'd rather have him go in right now so I can defend it and then pull all my units to the front to defend there. Because the incoming defense is going to be hell. It's the one thing I do know already. I don't know a lot, but that I definitely do know. Ugh! Frick. Don't want to show this either. Where's his units? Surely he needs to start moving out in the very, very near future, huh? He's gonna continue getting more of these immortals as well. Dang it. Now he knows that I'm there. What is he doing? Am I being all-in? Am I actually being all-in here or what? This feels like I'm being all-in off of like 2 bases, you know? Oh, he actually decided to move there. He's still here though. This looks good for me. Oh my god, I hate everything about you, buddy. How do I end up missing this after being ready the entire game for this exact scenario where everything starts flying in at the complete same time? My opponent still managed to find me. Oh my god, what's my Archon doing behind the rest of my army? You're pissing me off, that's what you're doing. You go here. I hope I killed a lot of workers. I didn't really check or pay attention at all to that. But I'm gonna assume I killed a lot of workers. We're getting +2. That's not a word. +2 armor as well. I want Guardian Shield. It's not a great fight, but I think the fight might have just been good enough for me to get the win eventually. His third base is uber delayed. My third base has been up for the past 25 minutes, it feels like. Come on. Whatever you're doing here, I want it ASAP. Ooh, yeah, you're dead. Does have +1 already. Well, like I said, I'm gonna have +2 soon. Which definitely is better. Is he moving out? I can catch that maybe. Just wanna get some vision on the map while I do that. And at the same time drop into the main as well. But he's definitely moving to that area. We have, yeah, we're gonna have Blink by the time he arrives there. I did not pay attention to this, and thus I lost my prism for free for no good reason, except... No, actually there's no good reason. You can't say there's no good reason except. Like there's just no good reason, period, to lose your prism for free. I should have just paid attention to it. Ooh, he's moving out right now. I thought I already started row of AI, I did. I did indeed. I want to get a run by going as well though. Some units in here. Colossus? Yeah, I think so. I wasn't sure if I wanted a Colossus here or if I wanted a non-Colossus, like a Disruptor or something. Like another Immortal. Immortal definitely would have been safe. Or Colossus. Good lord. Disruptor would have been safer. That's for sure. Oh. Maybe I can clear like 10 workers or so. It's not really worth it. Well, it's hard to say sometimes if something is worth it. So like in a direct translation there, that definitely wasn't worth it. But because I was afraid of dying for a sec and I'm teching into units that are definitely going to improve my position drastically in the next, well, what is it? 40 seconds or so. Delaying that army push out probably was okay. He's gonna come for me here right now. That much is obvious, right? So we moved away for a millisecond, and then we moved back in. Okay, nah, he hadn't arrived yet. That's my bad. That actually is my bad. Okay, now he believes that it's safe. He's gonna leave one marine down there. I'm gonna send in another zealot. This is kind of the dance. Oh, he's moving out there. This is super risky. What? Doesn't even have medevacts with him. He's gonna lose his entire army, huh? No, no, no. So something is going to happen here. So I'm going to send these bad boys away. My opponent's probably still pushing forward with something at least. Or he has any type of... He should have left some mines behind. That's the one thing Korean Terrans are so much better at than foreign Terrans. It's actually insane. If you watch any Korean Terran play there, they would have left one mine at least behind. Every single entrance of the Protoss base always has a mine there. So they know whenever the TOS is moving out with an army. And if you're sending out a small run-by, that run-by is always going to get caught by at least a single mine. Look at this. I'm actually struggling super hard here, getting enough robo units out. It's kind of funny. Well, it's not funny at all, but... Send these into the third phase. Do I not have... Okay, this game is over now. Congratulations. Why does my range feel like it's so little? That makes no sense. Oh my god, okay. That changes things though, doesn't it? Monsieur de Koning. Oh, okay, did I lose all my workers? Except for like a half? He just has no army though. GG. Killing those workers was a sick move. I had killed 35 during the game though, so 13 in the back. What went wrong in this game? Let's have a quick look, shall we? So what did he open up with? He opened up, so this is why I sometimes say, sometimes it's best to still scout, because then I would have known this was a 2-gas opener, and then I know that the initial timing that he can hit is going to be just a little bit faster. Maybe I need to make blind batteries against that, like one in the main, one in the natural. Maybe just one in the main is good enough, I don't know. I just don't quite have enough units, I think. That's a real issue. I also only had 3 sentries. I think I'm supposed to get a 4th unit before. My gas management isn't completely perfect yet. Imagine I have 1 more Stalker, which definitely could have been possible at this point already. Actually, 2 more Stalkers at this point. Then I'm probably still fine. I have 3 sentries, 3 Stalkers. I have some force fields to block the Hellion movement. Life actually is pretty okay defending this. If I don't lose like 8, 9 workers here, my 3rd base is done before his natural is done. I'm just going to outmine him so hard. I can go into charge, take like 4 bases, double forge, instantly win the game. So even against this, build technically is fine. Just need to make some small adjustments here. Another thing, of course, was that I didn't play core before Nexus, which sucked. 6 points in the pocket, though. This build is really cool. I'm thinking of actually making a little bit of a build order guide of this in the near future, but I want to play it first myself a couple of times so I can get a better grasp of the build and have a better feel of it as well before I start pretending like I know everything about it. Like this type of situation, I'm not so sure. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next game. It's kind of funny, we're just getting 3 Terrans in a row and they're progressively getting better as well. So it's actually perfect for me because it was the first time I played the build. And now I've had 2 games of practice already. And now I get the kind of like the end boss of today's episode at least. So that's nice. Epic. I think it's an American Terran player as well. This is a fairly American time that I'm playing at as well. It's like, it's almost 11 PM right now. So it's not that weird that some of the Americans are playing on Europe. Some people say that being in America is a disadvantage compared to being in Europe when you're a pro gamer, because the American server is weaker. But for me personally, when I was in North America, when I stayed in Toronto for a little bit, I noticed that my daily routine was very healthy when I was there, because you basically wake up at 9 and the European ladder is super active, which is fantastic, right? You can play on the European ladder the first thing in the morning, basically. I love that so much. But here I need to wait till like 2 p.m. for the ladder to get a little bit active, which personally for me was worse. My daily life schedule when I was in Toronto was fantastic. But maybe they don't talk about like their day-to-day, but more just in America, you know, being there is worse for whatever reason. Maybe the internet in America is a little bit worse. I guess it's a little bit harder in America also to take risks, because the social security might be a little less good than in some of the Western European countries. That's what I think it was Huck who said that, is that for Europeans it's a little bit easier to take 1 or 2 gap years, because it's better like security fallback on that, if I recall correctly. Oh wait, I wanted to start with a sentry. I actually think starting with an adept is not bad. I really liked how that panned out in the first game. I didn't check if there was a Reaper here, so in that case we got getting an adept I think is actually quite cool. It allows you to chase away that Reaper and have a little bit of ambiguity. Is that the word? I think that's the word I would want to use here. Have a little bit of ambiguity to the... Yeah. Confusing. Have a little confusing for your opponent. What exactly is going on? Nothing weird happening yet, which is good. I mean, the less weird things happen, the better it is for me. Really looking forward to playing against a triple CC opener. If you play against a triple CC opener with this, I think you're insanely far ahead. You could basically take a 4th base at like the 4-minute mark, and there's nothing your opponent can do about it, really. Which is crazy. I'm too late, once again, with the second gateway, which actually does suck, and I apologize for that. Need to really figure out the correct timing there. I did pull out of gas correctly, which makes me happy. And I'll get a pylon over here. One thing that I could do is... Actually, this is about the correct timing for an actual Phoenix to show up. So if you don't take any damage, your opponent might believe that this is a real Phoenix, which I've mentioned this before, but that would be absolutely huge. Like, absolutely massive here. Confusing here for a start. Very confusing. What are your plans, buddy? What are your plans? I want to know. We'll go back in. We're gonna go back in. That's a medevac. Okay, he's moving out immediately. Now, looks okay for me because I have a lot of units. And also I'm gonna have a guardian shield, but I don't have a good idea of where my opponent exactly is, which pisses me off a little bit. Ooh, he's pushing out, huh? Ooh, that was not good for me. He should be attacking that sentry of mine that is providing the guardian shield. It's not quite what's happening here. It's definitely not quite what's happening here. This is still good control out of him, though. Very, very nice control, even. I'm a fan of this move. Of this movement out of my opponent. No tank here, though. Means that eventually the party is going to end. The party always ends the moment you think it's about to get exciting, don't you? At least that's what used to happen when, back in my days when I used to visit parties. Like, ooh, you started to kind of get into it and then the party would end. Someone's parents came home. It's like, ah. Get the perfect amount of beers in you just at that point. These days, it feels like I'm the one that ends the parties by going home to sleep. Responsible adult. I had to tell Epic as well right now that the party was over for him, you know? I was like, my friend, I'll be the responsible adult in this situation, but this party has ended a while ago. And you seem to still be kind of unaware of that. So, he's just, you know, gave him a push in the right direction here. I sometimes feel a bit bad for Terran players as well, you know? They put their heart and soul into a push, trying to just... His entire plan was probably to cancel my 3rd base, and he shows up and my 3rd is already done. It's like, that has to be frustrating at some level, you know? It just has to be. I know that it is. Like, I just know that it must be frustrating. Maybe he took a 3rd base behind this? Oh no, he's playing... Ooh, interesting. He's not playing a third base behind this. He's just playing triple Rex behind this. Yeah, what do we do then? I'm feeling a Nexus. I'm feeling a Nexus. I'm feeling a Forge. Did he miss me? He did miss me. When I need motivation, my one solution is my queen, and she's still strong. This as well. I'm almost, not really, but almost. I'm almost tempted here to get a robotics facility as well, but I think it is not in my budget range, in my price range yet. I can't quite afford it. Like, I kind of want to stop a push first, you know? Something needs to happen first before I can safely tech into something else. That's also why I'm adding a decent chunk right now of sentries. It's because I'm afraid of a one-base push. I'm going to start adding more of my immortals as well, because I think they can be quite useful. What? How did he move out without me seeing that? Huh? Am I this dumb? Is he this smart? Well, I mean, I'm still winning. I just don't understand. How did he run past me? Is this James Bond? Have we found the first American James Bond? Because James Bond, I believe, is British, right? Works for like MI6 or something like that. I'm not too deep into the James Bond lore. Watch Epic be a Canadian as well. That'd be very sad for him and for all Canadians. Me constantly referring to him as an American. What do I do here? It's a weird situation, huh? This is a trick, by the way, that I'm gonna show here. And this is what I call objective-based attacking. Or maybe I should change the name, because it's a little bit wordy and it doesn't make sense either. Basically, very often what you have, this is the same against Zerg players, is that if you're attacking into an army that consists of mainly ranged units, they can kite you forever. So what you need to do is you need to hurt something. You need to attack something that will truly hurt them. And in this case, that is going to be the eco. So that way I'll force my opponent to attack into me or lose the entire natural base eco. That is technically the plan here. And it's going to work out like a charm because it always does. This is a really good strategy that I would like all of you to kind of be aware of. Because if you're kiting your opponent the entire time, life is awful. But here, what I do... Whoop! Oh, that was an okay blink. I sounded way too happy for how mediocre that blink was in reality. So basically, I killed everything here, and now I don't even need to really stay here. I can go home. He knows it, so he's once again going to attack into me, and I'm once again going to be fine with it. Pum, pum, pum. It's going to pick up, and I'm going to shoot you down. Yeah, this is very nice. This is very, very nice for me even. Now, we could do the same thing here again, because he's going up this ramp. And I know there's still workers here, so now he needs to either attack into me. Now he even needs to make a decision. Does he want to chase me? Does he want to stop it? Then he gets himself in a position where I can blink easily on top of him. And you just kind of, see, you kind of juggle between these positions. You're attacking something that he likes. This is a really important concept that I see go wrong fairly often at lower levels. And it's important to get that right. It's the way to attack. Because you don't want to attack into crap positions. So if you kind of get a position in between two bases, this is often a fairly decent solution. Yeah, I knew he was going to pick up. I can read their minds. I'm a mind reader. Not the greatest split. I don't need it anymore though. Will we get a GG? Yeah, we get a GG. Very mannered everyone today. Beautiful stuff. Not the cleanest defense. So once again, not completely rare. One of the reasons, look, this is why understanding where you need to place buildings is very important as well. This, wait for this. This was a mistake. This third pylon needs to be over here because the moment I see factory this fast, I need to be capable of responding with a battery at my third base. But now, I scouted this fast, and I didn't even have a pylon down yet, which means that my battery can't be in time. So I start the battery basically immediately, but look at that. It is about 18 seconds away from finishing. And what takes 18 seconds to build? A pylon. If I had that one pylon here already, my battery would have finished right now. This fight would have looked even more one-sided than it currently did. And that's difficult to imagine, but definitely true. All right. 3 games. 3 games against Terran. 3 triple sentries. And 3 wins as well. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this episode. Despite it only being Protoss versus Terran. It's also nice every now and again to have an episode without PvPs. I thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, don't forget to hit the like button. That's the wrong button. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all next time for a new video. Bye-bye.